Matt, why are you always in here early? What's that about? Matt, can you hear me? Mental,
Hello, hello.
how you doing, bruv?
I'm doing well, thanks. How you doing?
Uh, just a bit nervous.
Oh, how come?
This whole thing with gaming, it's going very quick. You know,
Think so?
dude, we're supposed to be talking about the state of play, when suddenly I don't know. I don't know. I'll see how Ham feels about it personally. For me, I don't like addressing rumors and
Feels about what?
about the whole Xbox is going third party thing.
Oh, dude, people have some opinions on that.
They are losing their shit over
It's
stuff.
People are very
I try.
passionate.
I
about
always
that.
look at these things from a business perspective. Um, a lot of their games make sense, I think, to take them to other platforms. Anything that's like a gas-like game, right? If you've got things like Sea of Thieves, I think that's a good example of a game that would do really, really well, just like a Minecraft does really, really well, being a games as a service type game. I think those things make sense. I think you'll see Sony and doing the same thing because it makes sense from a business perspective. You need to be able to fund those exclusive AAA games somehow. That's one way you can do it. Would I be upset if Halo went to PlayStation? That would seem like sacrilege if they did that. Just because it's, even if it's only the multiplayer piece, I think
Even the
it would be a
multiplayer.
little bit weird. What's that?
Even the multiplayer.
Well, yeah, it would just seem wrong. But, maybe on the other hand, if guys on PlayStation like the multiplayer, they buy an Xbox for the single player, like for the campaign pieces. I don't know. I mean, when they started first announcing cloud and being able to play on tablets, I always looked at that as kind of the gateway drug to get them into the main ecosystem, right? You get them playing through streaming, and then maybe they like the games and they want to play them with the best experience. So they pick up a console or build a PC and they start buying the games outright that way. I don't know. It's a tough one though. The competitive person that I am hates to see it in the sense that I think it reduces competition across the board. It makes Sony's life easier. It makes Nintendo's lives easier. Maybe it helps short-term business-wise, but I think it's also going to hurt them potentially. Especially now they're in a position where they've got so many games, so many studios. They're finally in a situation where they can compete. And not just compete, but actually start to dominate a market that they've traditionally struggled in. And it just seems like it'd be really premature to start bringing games to, like, going third party now. It doesn't make any sense. Give it a few years, see how ABK pays off. That's my thoughts. But
Matt,
Yeah. How do I feel?
yeah.
It's the thing is, I don't have strong feelings either way. I really don't have super strong feelings either way. Like from a business standpoint, I can see why they would want to do it. It's hard for me to sit back and be like, you guys are wrong for wanting to do that when they're the ones looking at the numbers and they know what's going on a lot more than I ever possibly could. So, I mean, if they're looking at the numbers and the numbers are telling them, like Mitchell just said, games as a service, like Sea of Thieves, it makes sense to be on as many things as it can possibly be on. I would say the same for something like State of Decay 3. I would say the same for a lot of their game Grounded. A lot of their games as a service games, I would say that it makes total sense Like
does.
even like for a game like Hi-Fi Rush, even I don't. It's not a game as a service, but it doesn't. The idea of Hi-Fi Rush being on PlayStation doesn't bother me. It really only bothers me if we're going like, okay, every single game is going to be going to the other thing at some point. You need to like they need to make it if they're doing it, they need to make a distinction of, okay, these are the games that are going, and here's how long after launch, or maybe they're going at launch.
But who's going to believe them, Matt? Because remember,
If they say it
right?
if they say it themselves,
yeah, but that's
you
the
have no
thing.
choice but to believe
There's
them.
recordings out there that Phil Spencer and other execs talking about our games will always be exclusive to Xbox. You will only be able to play games that are made by Xbox would only be on Game Pass.
On Game Pass,
nowhere else.
where
So-
Game Pass is available.
So unless suddenly there's a big deal that says Game Pass is now on now on PlayStation and Nintendo, which I don't think is happening anytime soon.
but
if
here's
they
the
said
thing,
that
Luke.
and then they didn't fulfill it less than 10 years
Sure.
into said promise, why would you believe them if they said no, this is a one-off thing and this is a Bethesda game?
No.
Dude.
No, I entirely believe them because if they could, they would totally have Game Pass on PlayStation.
Yes, which is fine.
They would
which is
they
fine,
would like
man.
that's the thing. That's the thing. I'm saying like that's the point like I'm trying to make is they're probably actively trying to get Game Pass on PlayStation.
Sure, but it is still
And
a lie told,
Yeah.
right? That these games that are Xbox games, you will only be able to play them on either Xbox or Game Pass. That's what was said.
On places that Game Pass exists.
And now,
Yeah.
if we take this rumor to its conclusion, right, and this actually happens, they have officially broken that promise. So why would we now believe a new promise that says no, it's just this game?
Because the rumor isn't at the conclusion.
Yeah, no, I'm saying
Like,
let's
it's-
imagine it actually goes there.
But
that's
has-
what I'm saying. Again,
But the thing is,
we
we could also say imagine it goes there, but Game Pass is on PlayStation.
then it's
Imagine
awesome.
that's the announcement.
Then it's awesome.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard for me to get super worked up either way until something happens where I'm like,
No,
okay,
but
now
what you said, which was also on your Twitter, what you said is that even if this happened, so you did go to the conclusion that I'm positing. You did go there. You said even if this
yeah, I
happened,
said it on Twitter.
I don't really have like strong feeling towards it. So I'm saying,
I don't.
moving forward, if we get to the conclusion that even you posited, right? You even have
Yeah,
a
sure.
reaction for it. If we get there,
Sure.
what I'm saying is there's a grave damage to the value or the value proposition of acquiring or even staying with the Xbox platform, because then it's like I'm just gonna sell my Xbox and then our main PlayStation, because the games
But
are
the
coming
thing-
here anyway. And even if I main PlayStation and I can't play the Xbox games when they're fresh, truth is there isn't much time to keep up with both consoles right now anyway. So
Sure.
it's fine. I'll treat the Xbox games like my backlog. They will come to my platform eventually.
Okay.
That's
So,
what I
like,
see.
So I would say to that, like, if we're going to the conclusion that the games are coming to PlayStation, and in this case it's Hi-Fi Rush is the rumor.
Yeah, it's
Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves also was a rumor at some point. But like, first of all, if it's just those two games, which it's not going to be, it's going to be those two games first, and then probably down the line they'll bring
It's
other
the whole thing.
games of service.
It's the whole
Sure,
thing.
but like I said on Twitter, for me,
Yeah.
like just personally,
Yes.
this does not affect me in any way, shape, or form.
If it happens.
Because and also to your point of like, it makes the Xbox platform less, or consoles less valuable, then I mean, I would argue that my Xbox still holds a lot of value because that's where I bought. That's where like 99% of my gaming library over the past 15 years is at. So it still holds value.
Okay. I'm
I
not...
honestly, I see a future where, well, I don't know, probably back in 2018 or pre that even, I had got into arguments on. Remember the old Google Plus platform where you could? It was like a whole platform they had. Well, I was on there arguing with people about how the future would have Sony's games on Xbox, Nintendo's games on Xbox, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. All games would be everywhere. The theory that I was working on is that it would be likely that the competition's game would be, they would have a store on the Xbox, but it would be to play games via streaming only, right? I didn't think they would do native ports of the games, which would still leave a reason to buy the plastic box, because if you like the games and you want the best experience, similar to what I said about tablets earlier, you go and you buy the plastic box because that gives you the best experience, right? Now it looks like we're going to see gas games or games as a service type situation where you have native ports of games. Maybe that's the start of it. I do still think you're going to have exclusives that will remain that way, at least for probably a couple of years before they venture over to other platforms. Otherwise, there's no point in building hardware anymore for Sony or for Microsoft, realistically, because Sony's going to, ultimately they're a business and they're there to make money. And I think the reality is the console sales are nice, but it's not making them the margins that they need. Because margin-wise, they're less profitable than Xbox when it comes to margins. They bring in way more revenue, but they're margin thin. And you can't grow like that. They don't have the money to expand the way Microsoft does, because Microsoft's not a one-trick pony, right?
Yeah. Which is why the Call of Duty
when you've got,
is crazy for them.
Yeah. And Xbox, they've got their own financial issues with the ABK deal too. They got to deal with, right? Like their last earnings report for the last quarter last year, they actually lost $440 million, and you wonder how you do that, right? And we wonder why there was 1,900 layoffs. Well, that's just the start. Because they need to somehow make up those losses and figure out what they're going to do to fix their business. The easiest way to start to correct some of that bleeding is by trimming heads. So that's why we saw that so quickly. Yeah. The books don't lie, right?
Oh, this just makes me think dude, my idea of probably going PC first is probably the way to go.
Well, I've been a PC main since the early 90s, basically.
Wow. I imagine what your game catalog looks like.
Yeah, I've played a lot of games, but it's...
And you still own them. You can still access them. You don't need to get
I've still got games
box.
from the 90s. Yeah, I've got games from the 90s I could load up and play today on my PC that I'm talking to you guys on, and they would work. Yeah. It's a different experience. I still like my consoles. One of the reasons I bought a Series X was because of the ecosystem and the integration with PC. And the fact sometimes I just like to sit in a lazy boy, kick my feet up, and play with the controller and on a TV. Sometimes that's nice. I don't like sitting at my desk that I sit at all day for work to play games all the time. So there's pluses and minuses, but the PC is the place where everything is. Nintendo too, much to their chagrin, I'm sure. Yeah. But my daughter, on her PC, she's playing every Nintendo game she could want to play. And it's led her to a point now where she wants to get some of the older consoles and play them in their original state, right? Oh, really? So, because she appreciates the games, and she's been picking up some older games now, and we've got a store close by that has all the retro stuff. Like, you can buy all kinds of different consoles and older stuff there. It's actually amazing. The selection they have is incredible. So, she's got into that, and she's liking that scene, so she's...
everyone's here.
Yeah, just like that.
All right, well, guys,
right on.
Ham, turn on your mic. I'm about to start God damn it, my alarm.
What is the setup?
What?
I said, what is the setup?
It's the pre-show setup. That's all it is. Relax.
No, I was just asking. I
Guys,
was
there's
wondering.
sun outside.
I'm
there's
start-
sun outside.
I'm starting the pre-show. See you in a bit, guys.